The WCA serves victims that have either just experienced violent assault, have been sexually assaulted, and need safety assistance right away. Most of them are women, and most of them do have children. This grant is very important to the WCA as it provides emergency assistance to our clients that we serve. And some of that comes in the form of medical help, and some of it comes in the form of emotional support. And that's what we do at the WCA, is help that victim in the middle of their most horrific times of their lives and being able to immediately address their safety. If we do not have the funding, we may have to turn away victims. The grant that we have applied for can pay for things such as emergency food, emergency shelter. It can pay for deposits, utility deposits. Perpetrators often will destroy documents, so birth certificate replacement, driver's license, all those IDs. That all needs to be reestablished very quickly.
So we know that domestic violence does impact people of every gender, race, color, socioeconomic status. We see people at so many different points in their journey, and generally when they come and see us, it's because they're about to leave or have just left an abusive situation, and so they now need a place to stay. They need shelter to keep them safe and their location secret.
The work of the WCA is crucial to this community because safety has to be number one.
These women are facing so many different barriers to achieving safety. You know, their income sometimes can be stolen when it does come in, someone controlling those things. You know, there's reproductive coercion going on, you know, where they're forced to have kids or not have kids in order for that control to be there. It's not having enough money to leave or feed those kids once it becomes a one-income household. You know, some people have different immigration statuses, and so that makes it more difficult or more afraid to speak out. You know, their partner, their abuser status in the community also makes it more difficult for some people to leave. Every case is so unique, and I think one example I could give that really illustrates how much these clients have to go through is a mother with 7 children. She couldn't find a place or a shelter that would accept a mother and 7 children. And leaving on one person's income can't support 7 children. It's difficult to do. And so to protect her children, she gave those to her aunt so she could go back home, but her kids could be safe. And I think that illustrates the lengths that many of our clients have to go through to keep not only themselves, but their children safe as well.
The work of the WCA is extremely important in this community, just like the Women's Fund, trying to ensure that every girl and woman reach their full potential. As we grow up, no one has taught us in these kind of circumstances where to go immediately for help. We know when we have a medical need, we call 911, but no one has told us when the person you love beats you up, when you have been sexually assaulted with a person that you thought was a loving person, what to do. This additional funding for the WCA would mean more lives could be saved, more outreach, just by you all being in the audience today to understand the impact violence has on women and girls, and to be able to help support that so we can meet them in their most dire days and dire moments of their time.
Many of our clients feel hope when they have reached out to us and we do get them in a safer place. They show so much gratitude for just being somewhere safe, for not having to look over their shoulder every night.
On behalf of the Board of Directors and the staff at the WCA, we are so thankful to the Women's Fund for this opportunity to receive this grant, and to think that hundreds of lives will be saved from these dollars. And we so appreciate their support and also their encouragement to keep on working on this very difficult issue.
Sex trafficking is happening here in Omaha. The Notre Dame Sisters' mission is to address unmet needs in our society. Our Coalition on Human Trafficking was established about 3 years ago, and the purpose is to educate people to realize, to recognize, and to respond to sex trafficking and human trafficking in general. And we do this through education because raising awareness is so key to making a difference. There are 4 subgroups within the coalition. One is legislation. We really want to increase the penalties for pimps and the consumers buyers. A second subcommittee is the Education Committee. And education is so key and so important to raise awareness of how prevalent this crime is. A third committee is Victim Services. And the fourth subcommittee is a Hotel Motel committee. The goal of the Hotel Motel Committee is to train all managers and employees in all hotels and motels in a 50-mile radius of Omaha.
Well, I'm just a regular person and I volunteer with the Hotel Motel Project. What I do is partner with hotels and motels to train the management and staff so that they are able to recognize human trafficking when it's occurring in their hotels and motels, and so that they are empowered to respond to it. Every single hotel has had human trafficking happening in their establishment. It doesn't matter if it's a $50 a night budget hotel or if it's the $500 a night fancy hotel suite, trafficking is happening in our town, in our community. One of my favorite stories as a trainer and ambassador is a gentleman who owns 2 motels in this town, and he was very resistant even to speaking with me. I persisted and he did agree to meet with me. We sat down together and he was adamant that trafficking is not happening in his establishments. And although he was very reluctant, he did agree to training his staff and management, and we set up 4 trainings with him. First, his housekeeping staff was trained, and I left those trainings feeling very broken. Not only was trafficking happening at his hotels, but his housekeeping staff was very aware, but they didn't recognize it for trafficking. They were under the impression that any sex trade happening in the hotel was voluntary. So even when they would hear the screams, even when they would hear the beatings, even when they would find the paraphernalia left behind in the rooms, they didn't feel like there was anything they could do about it. My partner and I left that training, and we were touching base out in the parking lot before we drove to his other hotel to do the training there. And this man came out to stop us and said, "There's a girl being trafficked here right now. I'm convinced of it." Because this man was open to the information we presented in training, because he was willing to step way outside of his comfort zone to draw attention to activity in his hotel, this girl was offered a chance. She had hope and options for the first time since she was brought into that life. I'm so thankful for Women's Fund and the work that they're doing, because every aspect of what the Women's Fund does is empowering women and empowering girls, vulnerable children, vulnerable women. Those are who are the targets of human trafficking. Every aspect of the work you're doing is making our work run smoother, be more effective. And we're so thankful for the opportunity to be in front of you and share our stories.
Our goal as a coalition and as a Hotel Motel committee is to really bring an end to human trafficking, and especially sex trafficking that we focus on. And we hope that through the ongoing support from the Women's Fund that we can really bring an end to this horrible crime. Working together, we can make a difference.